right, so we just watched that address of Ted Cruz to the Senate on cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
I'm not, listen, I don't.
Politically, I may disagree with him.
Yeah, but man, what
On social issues?
Yeah. What he said about this?
No, he's on it. Yeah, people need to go
gets
watch.
it.
Yeah, he understands blockchain, crypto, all that. And Texas is going to be the wave of the future because they're all, come in.
Yeah.
We want you, industry. We want all the tech. Don't go to Silicon Valley. Come here.
Yeah, why go to Silicon Valley?
Silicon Valley is going to be like a graveyard for big tech.
You know what it reminds me of? Like, nah, never mind.
Well, Elon Musk moved.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. It's not right. So
it's just the Tartle family, bro.
Yeah,
it's not going to.
Yeah, it's not going
the
anywhere.
Words won't go anywhere.
It's
just a
anywhere
podcast to
all over the
225
world.
countries.
Yeah, won't go anywhere except everywhere. So we're gonna bring up NFTs and crypto.
Yeah, this is the latest thing.
Everybody's talking about buzzwords. Buzz.
Non-fungus.
Yeah.
I always want to say that.
Fungus.
Yeah.
Non-fungusable.
Yeah, non-fungus tokens.
Non-fungible tokens.
Yes. So something just happened here recently.
Tell me.
You can go online and look at Glassdoor and all these places, Monster for jobs, and you can look on there, and Walmart and Amazon is asking for crypto experts to work for them.
Yeah.
Why is Walmart and Amazon wanting crypto people?
Because Walmart and Amazon know that's a whole new revenue stream that they can adopt. That's like, you know what it's saying? Like, will you pay me in gold bars instead of US dollar? That's what it is.
Yes.
They understand these hedges against inflation, and they're like, shoot, we need to add
We should have done this. What if we'd have done this a while back? They've run the models.
Yeah, they ran the
What if
model.
we took Bitcoin,
Yeah.
5 years ago? How much money would we have had?
If the biggest whales, the largest, slowest moving animals
Yes.
in the global financial ecosystem are turning to go feed on the krill, the NFTs and the Bitcoin and the crypto.
Yes.
Pay attention, ladies and gentlemen.
Pay attention. And we just saw
Ted Cruz.
Senate and Congress
Yep.
sneaking and and he talked about it, trying to sneak in regulation in the infrastructure bill.
Yeah, they were trying to empower the Treasury to regulate something they otherwise don't know. And they did it through the infrastructure bill to fix roads.
Well, you know what? Elon got involved. Jack from, not with Twitter anymore. I know he's with
Dorsey.
Square. Yeah,
Yep.
Jack Dorsey, which is a huge... the crypto community roared back at them, and they were like, oh, shit. So they pulled that out. But what I want people to understand is to get into this, the loudest constituency makes politicians pay attention.
Yeah, because politicians are old bags of wind. And
with nice suits.
moderately geriatric and hearing aids. So you have to scream at them.
Yes. Yes.
Otherwise, they can't hear you. And in the limited perspective of what they see and understand,
Right.
they have to hear the voice of the people. And if that's not heard, then they'll just take whatever person walks in the room as a so-called expert and be like, oh, okay, they must be right.
But when we get to NFTs and we get to all this, what I think we need to understand is creativity will be on the blockchain.
Oh,
It is, but I mean, it's going to be even more when we get to DeFi and everything else that's going on.
yeah, like people are selling, digital art.
Yes.
Like if somebody does something on the Adobe system and they want to say, it's mine. So all these other copies people are making, it's not the OG file.
Well, I mean, if I want to have an art gallery in this room,
Yeah.
and I want to charge a token for you to see my art gallery,
I'm going to do that.
I can do that. And then you wear a pair of glasses or whatever, and you
Yeah.
can walk in here and you can see virtually. You can walk in here. You can walk in here physically, put the glasses on.
No, fuck it. Sit at your house, throw on an Oculus, and then I want you to look at my art gallery.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't want you to don't even come to my place.
Yes.
You can sit at home and start browsing stuff.
And what I really like about blockchain, and people need to understand this, Raul Powell talked about this, blockchain will allow it to be free, and if it shouldn't be free, it won't be free.
Yeah, it's a...
Think about this.
It's like a muster
like piracy.
test. It's a muster test.
Yeah.
If people don't want to allow this ledger that comes into place to show real provenance of items, It tells you shouldn't be operating in that system because it is a red flag that it is abusing your free will, good nature, and it's robbing you of economic prosperity. It does not value you, that system. So if they do not want to adopt essentially this ledger that everyone writes to that's globally accessible, avoid it.
Yeah, remember the burning music on CDs and stuff?
Yeah.
And MP3s, and they had Napster and all that stuff, and you would just take it and burn it on there. There's no possibility to do that with blockchain.
No.
Not with music.
No.
Or anything.
All songs.
Digital art.
Every song will be its own NFT, everything.
So we see growth, especially when we look at, so let's use Bitcoin, for example, or TARTLE, either one.
Oh, good. A better example.
So, yeah. If you look at how fast the internet grew,
like a virus.
Yeah, it's a virus. But Bitcoin, for instance, let's use that one, is growing 113% more than the internet grew.
Right. So it was released in
what,
2008?
Yeah.
Yeah. The paper came out. But the internet here, well, let's talk about this reasonably, this statistic. First of all, how long did it take for people to get devices to get on the internet?
Yeah.
So the internet, in terms of its growth, was limited by the amount of connected devices that came on. So obviously, it's going to take a bit.
Yeah, and there's limitations with Bitcoin. I mean, it's confusing.
But yeah,
I mean, you can go to Coinbase or something like that and own, or Robinhood and own Bitcoin now. They've made it simpler that way. But if you want to actually have it in a physical, a digital wallet, and you physically own it, that's a process.
Yeah,
and it's not simple.
And if we statistically, if we like just put the ratio together to make it apples to apples in terms of its growth, it has been adopted so fast.
Yeah, but when you look at TARTLE, here's the difference. It's not confusing at all.
No.
It's very, very simple.
It's very straightforward.
And it's for everyone, just as Bitcoin is for everyone. So is TARTLE for everyone. It's based off of your work, which we've talked about that in previous episodes. But it's all of humanity.
Everyone. So
if you have an internet connection, or you can go to a cafe and get an internet connection with your low-powered, small screen phone.
Or if you're in Africa and you want to pay 10 cents to go into a shipping container with a couple computers to use it to get on Facebook, you can also be on TARTLE. So you don't have to have resources ahead of time to be a part of it. You use this thing freely available to generate resources.
And I think what's so unique about TARTLE is it goes from a store of value to a utility.
That's cool. Well, yeah, because the utility of it will be the utility for sharing. It will be the utility for data defense. Ooh, that's cool. That sounds cool. It'll be the utility for people's digital identities.
Yeah, and let's take.
You can't have a digital identity without TARTLE.
So we're talking about NFTs and crypto. So let's get fun. So we talk about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Probably the premium top crypto. Let's talk about the shitcoin Doji. There's no use case on Doji. It has a massive user base. They're building applications now on it.
Yeah.
But because of Metcalfe's law, we have a massive user base. We have adoption.
Yep.
So now they decide to build applications. And now what do we have? According to Metcalfe's law, we have a network.
Yeah, that's what it is.
We have a network now.
Yeah.
And it's worth billions and billions of dollars.
Only because a bunch of people choose to be a part of it.
And that's the thing that we have to understand. And we're going to talk about this in another episode. But all money, money's a facade, really. It's just an agreement, social agreement. It's not real. We have a piece of paper with dead presidents on it.
Give me your phone. You want it back? Do you want it back?
Yeah, eventually. Yeah, of course.
Okay, for how much though?
Yeah, exactly.
You are going to agree upon what that value is to you for the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And if you and I match on that, we've just created the beginning of Metcalfe's law. Two nodes coming together in communication and agreement for the transfer of something of value.
But this is how big tech has worked. You take my phone and then ask for it back.
No, here's what they do.
Yeah.
This is big tech. Can you log into your phone?
Yes.
I'll hold it for you. You can do all your texting and everything, but I'll hold it right here. I'll walk around all day long like this, and you can operate.
But it was yours in the first place, but I took it from you.
But I'm just going to hold on to it.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you leased this phone.
Oh, I made it shinier and prettier for you?
Yeah.
And you can just hold it.
No, go ahead. You want to log in? Your passcode?
Go ahead. Now let's show TARTLE.
Oh, okay. Here's TARTLE. Why don't you take this back?
Yes.
I'm going to leave the room. Okay. And I'm going to give you a key to the door so you can lock it from the inside. I won't even be able to get in. I'll knock and you just let me in if you want to. And when I'm in here,
when
I'm in here,
when you come in,
yeah,
I'm paying you for coming in.
yeah, that's correct. So, but you don't have to show me what's going on here if you don't want to.
No.
Is that cool? You don't even have to talk to me if I walk in the room.
I don't even know who you are when I walk in the room.
Yeah, that's fine. But you know I'm going to come in here and respect your rights.
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
So the power of community.
Really enjoyed that, by the way.
Yeah, that was awesome. The power of community is what is driving crypto and NFTs. NFTs is still in the beginning stage, but
strictly community. Reddit threads, forums, Twitter subtweets, laser eyes.
Yeah, all of that is
all of these
memes. Yeah.
All the memes. This stuff is driving this massive movement.
And when you look at institutions, or like you're talking about these whales, they have to play. Because there's something that we don't, and Bitcoin or Maximus are not going to like me when I say this, but we need a framework. There has to be adoption from the whales.
Yeah. And if you don't have it, then you're always going to be butting up against a wall. Because frankly, your systems require those frameworks because those frameworks have the resources to pay into the system you want to have value in.
It's like with TARTLE. If we don't have a Microsoft or a Google or a Facebook or a Exxon Mobil or a Unilever, if we don't have these large whales coming in and buying data, then it doesn't afford you the opportunity to sell your data.
Yeah, that's correct.
Because they're the ones that can say, okay, here's $1 billion, TARTLE. We want this data worldwide for in these different regions and stuff like this. We want to hook our API up.
That's why
we want to feed our algorithms and machine learning.
You can't just cut the leg off.
No.
You have to create this beautiful substitute.
And the systems are coming of age where we're at that tipping point right now, where there has to be institutional adoption.
And we can't.
And there has to be smart, as Ted Cruz was talking about, there has to be smart regulation.
Yeah, and we can't force these people to do these things and make them the enemy.
Yes.
You have to educate them on it.
Because if the government does a favorable regulation and they're really smart about it, and there becomes clear rules, what do whales do then? They're all in.
They're all in.
That's some of the reason why they're not in now.
Because it helps them de-risk their choice.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So
I want to get into 2 more points and then we'll get done. How do you value a NFT?
It depends on how many people want to buy it.
like the apes. You know, I mean, they're like tens of millions of dollars or whatever, or
correct.
so many Bitcoin or whatever. The value comes from the community.
It only comes from the people that see it and say, this has a value to it, and I'm willing to bid towards that value. And I'll give you this much money in whatever token to own this non-fungible token.
And so the central banks are going to come up. People need to realize this. The central banks will come up with a digital currency. It may take them a while. We're going to have a digital US dollar. China's already done it.
Yeah.
And China's more than happy to come into a digital Cold War with us.
Oh, they would love that. They would love that.
Because they don't have morals. There's no ethics there.
Culture's different.
You can play in a whole different world. You want to play with us online?
Yeah. In China, you work for the government.
Yes.
In the United States, there's a transition of you working for yourself.
Yeah, there's this big issue with the Olympic person or whatever that is just like sent this. Did you hear about this?
No, this is news to me.
She sent this weird letter. She disappeared for a while, and she supposedly came back, but the letter's like, I love the nation. I love China. It's the best thing. She kind of made a little tiny of a criticism, but she's representing them as an Olympic athlete. And then this weird letter came out, and they're like, well, obviously she didn't write that. And where's she at still? That's what happens there.
Yeah.
Jack Ma disappeared for a while. These billionaires in China disappear for a while, and then they come back, and they're all smiley face. I mean, we saw it with the actor for that one actor that had to speak in Chinese and apologize because he mentioned Taiwan.
What?
Yeah, the big muscular, He used to be a WWF wrestler. He's real famous. John
Cena?
Yes.
No way.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that. I encourage people to look at his apology on YouTube.
I love learning.
He learned Chinese
from you.
and he learned Chinese and gave an apology, and he apologized like 10 times. So, the reason is his movie made $30 million and $20 million of it. $300 million and $200 million of it came from China.
Yeah, they pretty much are going to be the new Hollywood.
Yeah.
What was that film that came out, like The Wall or something like that?
Yeah.
That was like the first major big budget like East meets West film.
Well, there's one that's #1 popular over there now, and it's an action movie. Of course, everybody loves action movies, of course, with me. And it's a Chinese special forces that is fighting Navy SEALs, and it's all like the Americans are bad, they're evil, whatever. I mean, we're not going to get into the politics part, but I'm just saying there's this big push, and the United States has done it just as much as China, so I'm not accusing any. There's this big push for propaganda, and people need to recognize this. In your entertainment, there is this ability for nation states to go against your free will.
Didn't Goebel?
Yeah. We learned this. We should have learned this in World War II.
Why?
Russia. We'll go UK, United States, Germany.
Human beings. Formulating this thought. Human beings are so quick to forget.
Mm-hmm.
And so because we're so quick to forget, we can't afford ourselves the time to focus on these historical things, to recognize the patterns and errors so that we don't make those mistakes going forward.
Well, how many politicians have promised you something that you never got?
Right. And so
what happens when you sign up for TARTLE?
What happens when you sign up for TARTLE, you get exactly what you're told you're going to get.
Yes.
And the more work you put in, the more you receive. But the future will be essentially ledgers of our past that are shared, which we can reflect upon. Because we do such a bad job of remembering things, we'll forget. So we'll use the computers to help us remember and remind us of those mistakes. And say, no, don't do this again. Immediate red flag. That would be the most beneficial artificial intelligence algorithm for a human being, is one where you have said, I made these choices, this is my outcome, and this outcome is not good for me. It would be able to analyze the course of your life, and when you're doing something right now in the very moment, and it's taking that data from you, it's saying you're making a mistake. That would be one of the most beneficial things we could do. If we applied a digital ledger and the outcomes to take the digital ledger and government policy and the outcomes of that policy, and we trace that over time and saw if something was actually beneficial or had a negative consequence, we would know in the writing of those policies that this is not going to work. We're so bad at remembering. And so we're always constantly rehashing, and our evolution is slow, but we can advance these things if we pay attention, if we understand that if we can remember better and use these things for our benefit, we can recognize essentially what is going on in these cultures that may be, against our rights, that may squander our free will, that may inhibit our economies from growing. We can begin to recognize those things. And NFTs and cryptocurrencies and TARTLE specifically will help for the remembrance of it. It will bake that into our digital future so that we can go back and analyze something that needs to be remembered.
And last question, and we'll close on this. Whenever you look at this in remembrance, especially with TARTLE, and you look at the ability for us to take personal responsibility, because that's what it all boils down to.
Yep.
Taking back our freedom and our personal responsibility. Whenever you have 7.5 billion people on TARTLE system, what begins to happen to the world?
The world actually evolves. And I really mean that. It's going to evolve at the most accelerated rate it's ever seen. There will be so much well-defined human understanding being shared. There will be such a great collective of voices coming together to state how they see the world and how they define an outcome as being positive or negative. And through that collaboration, that understanding is when humanity takes its next step. And it's essentially a great leap. And I would call that probably the Great Remembrance.